نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. The Quran is a book of guidance. It has in it all of the things that humanity needs in order to fulfill the purpose of their lives. It is not by design a book of the modern sciences or science in general as we understand science to be. The primary reason for this is that science is simply the sum total of the research and theories of that time, of any given time, based on research and trial and testing, calculations and equations and human effort. Science is the sum total of all of that in any given era. And as we all know, that is prone to change. It has changed significantly over the centuries, and sometimes the changes are extremely radical. Like there was a time when humanity believed that the entire universe revolved around the earth, and the earth was the center of the universe. And to believe otherwise was a crime. If you believed otherwise, you would be persecuted. And a massive process of censorship called the Great Inquisition was put into place, where anyone who was independently researching anything and coming to a conclusion other than that which was held by, in this case, the church, they would be persecuted. Even after that, scientific theory has developed and continues to develop. The way we look at the universe, the cosmos, the way we look at the origins of this earth as a planet, the way we look at the medical sciences, all of this is constantly changing. So the Quran is not a book of science in that sense. However, it is a book of facts. It's a book of absolute truths. And many of the things that the Quran mentioned over 1400 years ago were discovered 1400 years later by human beings through the process of research and experimentation. The Quran has so clearly and beautifully summarized the whole process of embryology, of how a child is created in the womb of the mother at a time when there was no such thing as an ultrasound or an X-ray, and there was no way to actually see what is happening and what are these phases. And people had all kinds of theories and guesses as to how the child is created. But the Quran announced it. And later, research found that, independently, of course, of the Quran, they found out that this is exactly what happens. And then people compared it to the Quran and they were shocked and amazed. And this became the source of some researchers accepting Islam. Another instance of this has been mentioned in Surah Al-An'am in tonight's recitation. And the Quran is actually giving a comparison or a metaphor. And the example that's being given is a person who has hidayat and a person who does not have hidayat. What are these two people compared with? Now look at the flow of the Quranic text. فَمَنْ يُرِدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to guide, He يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ. He expands his chest, opens up his chest. Sharaha literally means to slice something open. To slice something and open it up. Like you would take, for example, a fruit, you would slice it and open it up. But when this is used for chest, it means to expand the chest, and when the chest expands, this signifies ease in breathing. The opposite of this is what some people experience, like I'm experiencing since I've been in Melbourne. I'm having shortness of breath. I've never had this before. But it's the air. It's something about the air, the environment. So what happens? Your chest feels constricted. You want to pull in air, but for somehow you can't. And this is a new experience for me. But that feeling of the constriction of the chest, as opposed to the expansion of the chest. When the chest expands, it's easy to breathe. A person is at ease. They're comfortable. And they find themselves in a very pleasant state. وَمَنْ يُرِدْ أَنْ يُضِلَّهُ. When Allah wants to lead someone astray, يَجْعَلْ صَدْرَهُ ضَيِّقًا حَرَجًا. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to lead someone astray, He makes his chest tight, constricted. ضَيِّقًا, constricted. How constricted? حَرَجًا, to the extent of pain. Constricted to the extent of discomfort. To the extent of pain, like somebody who is having an asthma attack. They're trying to pull in the air, but it's not, and their chest is hurting. It's causing so much pain. So this is the example of somebody who does not have guidance. Guidance, then, is something that brings ease and comfort. And all of a sudden, you find your place in the world. All of a sudden, things start making sense. All of a sudden, you become comfortable with everything. You understand. And misguidance is the exact opposite. It's a process of getting more and more and more confused, constricted, narrow in one's thinking, to a point where a person is really, really on the edge. They're teetering on the edge. So يَجْعَلْ صَدْرَهُ ضَيِّقًا. His chest is constricted, filled with discomfort. Now look at the comparison. This is the beauty of this. كَأَنَّمَا يَصَّعَّدُ فِي السَّمَاءِ. His chest is getting constricted and uncomfortable, like someone who is يَصَّعَّدُ. It's from sa'ada. Sa'ida and sa'ada, it means to ascend, to go up. Is-sa'ada, it means to go up level by level, one step at a time. كَأَنَّمَا يَصَّعَّدُ, as if he is climbing level by level, where? Into the sky. يَصَّعَّدُ فِي السَّمَاءِ. He's climbing up, ascending into the sky. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that when someone goes up into the sky, it gets difficult to breathe. But how would the people of that time, the Arabs especially of that time, who did not know any such mountain peak, where the altitude would be so high that there would be trouble breathing, and there was no concept of possibly flying and going up into the air to such an altitude where it becomes... So nobody knew of this. Nobody could possibly understand what this actually means until man started flying. And man reached such heights when they said, oh, when you go up, the oxygen decreases and it gets difficult to breathe. And if you do not have your own supply of oxygen, then you're going to run out of air and you're going to die. And the Quran talks about it 14 centuries ago. So this is an example of a fact mentioned in the Quran. People understood it to be whatever it is until they found out what it's like to ascend up into the sky, up into the altitudes. So the purpose of this verse is not to explain the concept behind a reduction in oxygen levels as you go up, nor is the purpose of the verse to explain the phenomenon of atmospheric pressure. The purpose of the verse is to give this comparison between hidayat and guidance and misguidance. So, we know we are getting guidance when our chest is opening up, things are making sense, we are feeling better about being here in this world, and we understand our purpose. We recognized who has put us here, why He's put us here, what He wants from us, and we say, there it is, I just have to do this now. I might have some challenges along the way, but I just have to do it. I know what has to be done at least. The opposite of that is, a person doesn't know why they're here, who put them here, what are they supposed to do, how are they supposed to do it. So all of their time is spent in trying to figure it out. What do I do? What do I do? Maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, maybe I should try this. And they're revolving between trends and fashions and fads and whatever the gurus of the time are saying, and trying to find purpose in life, and sometimes making up their own purpose of life, and they're just going back and forth, and the whole life is just a quest for the truth. Our life is not a quest for the truth. Allah has given us the truth. Our life is a quest for just following the truth. And there's a huge difference between someone who's looking for something and can't find it, and someone who has it with them all the time. So the comfort, take the thing that you need the most, and for some people it'll be your car keys, and for other people it'll be your cell phone, and for other people it'll be something else. But that thing that you need the most in your day, somebody has lost it and they're looking for it and they're frantic. And someone has it with them in their pocket. The state of mind of both people is going to be completely different. Just like that, the state of mind of someone who has hidayat and someone who doesn't, it's completely two different mindsets, two different states of the chest of the heart. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open up the doors of hidayat and increase our hidayat and complete our hidayat. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to leave this world in a state of complete guidance. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه.